Hey there, you guys. Welcome back to another episode of Becoming the CEO of Your Life. I am Janeen Alley, and as always, I am very excited about being with you guys today. I do have to tell you, I have been pretty sick, and so this is going to be a pretty short episode so that I can conserve some of my energy and the things that I have for the things that I have going on for the rest of the day today. But I wanted to just jump in here and do a really power-packed episode on being bold so that you can create the business breakthroughs that you're looking for. So I know a lot of you have had success doing the things that you've been doing, but you feel like there is more and you feel like there's a pivot coming. But I know how hard it is to make this pivot. I think some of us are just like, well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I totally get that. But the thing is you want to make this pivot deep down. You want to make the pivot, but it is going to require you to be vulnerable. And this is going to also require of you that you are bold. And so I want to just kind of talk about how to channel this energy and how to do this so that it doesn't feel quite as scary, because it really does require a shift from one focus to the next. So one of the things that I did when I was not feeling well was I was watching one of my favorite movies, which is Encanto. I don't know if any of you have seen that Disney movie. It is one of my favorites of all time. I generally am not much of a movie person, but I really, really love this movie. I've watched it multiple times. But the character that I want to zone in on for today is Isabella. She is the beautiful sister. She is the one that creates all the bouquets of flowers and everything. And she kind of creates this, what I would consider like a textbook beautiful in the movie. We do this in our own businesses as well, right? Where we have kind of a textbook creation of what it is that we have built so far up to this point that has given us a certain level of success, right? And a lot of this comes from following a coach, a business coach, or doing certain things a certain way. I'm just going to give you an example of this. In my business for years, I think from 2016, it was the end of 2016, beginning of 2017, I started doing webinars in my business. And I got a webinar script based off of a business coach, and I followed everything to a T. And then, I did that for a little bit of time. And then I read a business book by somebody I'm sure y'all are familiar with if you're in the online business space. And he had a webinar script. And so then I shifted things and I did things his way. And then I found another coach and they had a webinar script, and on and on and on it went, right? And every single time I did a webinar, it was based off of someone else's script. And so when I was just this last year working with somebody new, she was the first person in my life that was ever like, just do your own dang webinar, Janeen. Don't just do it the way that you feel like it needs to be done. And I wanted to do a shorter webinar. I didn't want to do a 45-minute webinar because I hate sitting through 45-minute webinars. I'm like, I know where this is going. Don't waste my time. Just tell me the main things. And I just want to get the information out to people, just like I want to consume the information, and I want to do something really, really short. So it's longer than a video sales letter, but it's much shorter than like the traditional 45 to 90 minutes, sometimes webinars. And I'm like, oh my gosh, who has time for a 90-minute webinar? If I need your product, I will know that I need your product, right? Or whatever it is that I'm looking for. So anyway, we do this so many different ways in business. And there's this point in the movie where Mirabelle, who is the main character in the movie Encanto, right? She's here to solve the miracle, right? She wants to come in and give her sister a hug. There's this cute little part in the song where she's like, bring it in, bring it in. It's one of my favorite parts of the movie. But Isabella is really upset with her sister. She's like, you ruined my proposal. And it comes out that she actually never really wanted to marry this guy, but she still ruined the proposal because she felt like she was supposed to marry this guy because that's what her family wanted her to do. And she's finally able to speak her truth, and up pops this pokey little cactus as soon as she says that. So she's used to creating like all kinds of roses, like all different shades of pink roses, pink and purple roses is kind of her MO, right? So as soon as she speaks her truth, up pops this pokey little cactus, and she picks up this plant and she's like, oh my gosh, what have I created? And she just kind of falls in love with this new creation. She's like, it's beautiful because it's mine. And this is truly so transformational, I think, in her character, because she's so used to doing things the way that she feels like she's supposed to. And then the song evolves and she starts talking about, what else can I do? That's kind of I would sing it for you, but not today. And I think sometimes we have, in the process of creating things, we have this little voice in the back of our head, this fear of rejection that we have, right? That creates all of this self-doubt. What if I get this wrong, right? And I know that a lot of you are just like me, that you want to be amazing students. And you have been amazing students, and you have followed the quote unquote webinar scripts. I mean, I'm using that kind of as an analogy here, whatever that it equals to in your own business and in your own life. You have done the webinar scripts exactly the way you are supposed to, as far as how your coach wanted you to do them. But I want you to think about ways that you can channel this energy to do things on your own. You want to care more about what your message is and connecting to yourself to kind of break down or to soothe these heart walls that we all create. We create a heart wall energy to protect ourselves. And one of the ways that we do this is by using someone else's process, right? We will have someone to blame if things don't go the way that we want them to. We will have someone to ask questions to, and that feels secure. It feels like, well, I'm doing this process, it should work this way. So going out on our own and doing things, either whether it's speaking our own truth or doing things in a totally different way, it feels very exposed. It feels very vulnerable to do this. So the antidote to this is you have to learn how to strengthen that heart energy, that heart message I've talked about before on the podcast, like the song your soul wants to sing. You want to be able to strengthen that heart energy. I know that sounds a little bit woo, but it's kind of this energy of, I love this because it's mine. And the love of creation is stronger than that fear of rejection. And that is really the shift that you need to make. It's the love of creation that has to be stronger than the fear of rejection. It's like, what else can I do in this space? Another beautiful example of this is actually from one of my favorite books. And you may or may not be as familiar with this one maybe as the movie Encanto. But if you haven't read this book, I highly recommend it. It's called Jonathan Livingston Seagull. And the author's last name is Bach. I can't remember what his first name is at the moment. I should probably just turn around and get the book off of my shelf, but I literally just walked up my stairs and I'm like gasping for breath. So I am just going to leave it at the last name for today. But Jonathan Livingston Seagull is the name of the book. And it is amazing. It's about this seagull who breaks free from the flock and is all about testing the limits of flight. And it's just a beautiful story. So it's another really good reference if you're interested in reading right now. Maybe you are sick as well and you just need a good little book to snuggle up under some blankets and get cozy next to your fire or something. But that is a fun one to read as well, to kind of, like I said, build this fire within you that burns brighter than all of the fears and the doubts and all the things that are bubbling up. So that is how to be bold. It really is pausing and waiting until that fire starts to burn before you start to speak and everything. Otherwise, what you're doing is you're like, well, I don't know, I'm gonna try this out and I'm gonna do this. And it's not sexy as far as attracting people into your world. So, I mean, I'm doing this right now as I speak. I'm like super passionate about this, even though I'm kind of a little fuzzy in my head today. But this is how I'm doing it, is I'm like, yes, this is what I want to talk about. I love this character of the movie, and you can see this transformation within the movie of this Isabella character, and how at first she's just doing everything because she feels like she should. And then towards the end of the movie, she is covered in all of this like crazy colored pollen, and her hair is kind of crazy and her clothes are a mess. But she was doing what she loved. And that is really where you want to start with the pivot. So anyway, I hope that this was helpful. Like I said, it's short today, but this is what we can do. I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your week, and we'll talk to you guys soon. We'll see ya. Bye-bye.